This video was captured by a Reddit user's doorbell camera. It all began in the dead of night when the homeowner was jolted awake by the frantic barking of his dog. Moments later, a chilling notification buzzed from the Ring app, warning him that something or someone had triggered the motion sensor at his front door. With growing dread, he opened the app, expecting to see an empty porch. Instead, he was met with a single bloodshot eyeball staring unblinking into the camera lens. The sound of a man's incoherent mumbling and whispering filled the silence, a sinister lullaby in the dark. The man at the door didn't stop there. He began knocking, his knuckles rapping in an irregular, almost desperate rhythm. Then, as if the boundaries of the home meant nothing, he tried the doorknob, rattling it violently, and then the window, all the while his disturbing whispers continued. When the homeowner, now gripped by fear, threatened to call the police, the man outside suddenly snapped to attention, his voice defensive, yet still eerie, claiming he was just looking for his dog, conveniently named Fido. But the name seemed hollow, as if plucked from the air to mask darker intentions. In the video, we see the man pacing, waiting to be let in. Is this his home, or is he some uninvited guest? As he lingers by the door, something even more unsettling appears, a translucent, animal-like figure, barely visible, floating towards the door. As it passes through the man, he turns abruptly, his eyes wide, reacting to something we can't hear. Was it a sound, or something else entirely? Next, we jump back to a time that was already filled with unease, the clown epidemic of 2016. In the first clip, a figure dressed as a clown stands at a front door, a small sword glinting in his hand. He lingers for a moment, his painted face grotesque in the dim light, before ringing the doorbell and fleeing into the night. But that wasn't the end. In another clip, a different clown, or perhaps the same one, stands at a distance, staring at the front door as if waiting for something or someone. After a tense moment, he approaches, the doorbell camera capturing every second of his eerie presence, before he turns and vanishes into the darkness. Prank or not, no one would want to open their door to these harbingers of fear. Then, in broad daylight, at around 2 p.m., a man in a dark hoodie approaches another home, ringing the doorbell with purpose. Inside, the homeowner, oblivious with his headphones on, doesn't hear the chime. The man outside, assuming the house is empty, returns 15 minutes later with an accomplice, both of them cloaked in hoodies. This time, the man in the dark hoodie kicks the door, each bang echoing like a gunshot. But the homeowner, alerted by the noise, yells something, a primal shout that sends the would-be burglars running. It's a reminder that sometimes sheer luck can turn the tide of terror. Another video captures a shirtless man walking up to a door, but instead of knocking or ringing the bell, he hesitates, faking a knock as he glances nervously at a car parked off-screen. The car seems to hold some unseen threat, as the man minds a conversation with the empty air, all the while checking to ensure the person in the car is watching. What dark task was he sent to do? And what fate awaited the person named Matt, whom they were searching for? In the next clip, the doorbell camera detects motion, but nothing appears, except for a small white orb floating across the screen. Paranormal investigators would call it a spirit orb, a sign of something otherworldly. But this orb was powerful enough to trip the camera sensors, leaving viewers to wonder, what else could it do? Then there's the photo, a single, disturbing image caught by another Redditor's doorbell camera. After a series of strange notifications, the homeowner checked the app, expecting to see nothing. But instead, they were confronted with a nightmarish figure. Whether it was male or female is unclear, but the shape of its eyes, inhumanly wide and distant, suggests something not of this world. It's the kind of image that lingers in the mind, long after the screen has gone dark. Another unsettling clip shows a masked figure approaching a home. The person covers the doorbell camera with tape, effectively blinding it. The homeowner, alerted by the motion sensor, grabs his gun, heart pounding in his chest. Eventually, the tape peels away, but the masked figure is gone, leaving behind only questions and the chilling thought of what could have happened while the camera was blinded. In another video, two men approach a house, one armed with a gun. The man hides his face as he rings the doorbell, then steps aside, waiting. His accomplice paces down the sidewalk, the anticipation thick in the air. But no one answers, and they flee. Yet, they're not done. They return, determined to break in. But this time, the homeowner is ready. He speaks through the doorbell speaker, claiming the police are on their way. The threat is enough to send the intruders running, leaving the homeowner safe, but shaken. On September 10th, 2018, a nightmare became reality for a Florida homeowner. At 4 a.m, her doorbell rang. The camera revealed a man clad in a bulletproof vest, an assault rifle slung over his shoulder. The homeowner, frozen with fear, gathered her 2 children and hid in the bathroom, praying the locked door would hold. She called the police, her husband, anyone who could help. 25 minutes later, the police arrived, but the terror of that night would never truly leave. The man, it turns out, was the father of a young girl who had stayed with the family, claiming to be afraid of her own dad. Now, they knew why. Finally, we end with something inexplicable. In the dead of night, a doorbell camera captures a blurry, transparent figure gliding down the sidewalk across the street. It looks human, but something is off. Its movements too smooth, too silent. The homeowner, disturbed, asks his neighbor to check their footage from the same time. But when they do, there's nothing there. The figure exists only in the first recording, leaving behind a mystery that defies explanation.